Perhaps no prospect in the Mets organization gets more mixed reviews than this one. And well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Y2K99. Thank you as always for taking the time to watch these videos. If you enjoy what you're watching and you're brand new, welcome aboard. Please like and subscribe. It helps out the channel. If you are returning, welcome back. So today we're going to continue our series of the Mets prospect profiles, and I want to talk about the number 6 ranked prospect in the Mets organization, although Keith Law ranked him 5th earlier this month, and that is infielder Ronny Mauricio. So Ronny Mauricio, 6'3", 222 pounds, plays the left side of the infield primarily. Now he's a switch hitter. Not a whole lot of switch hitting prospects are in the Mets organization right now, so that is one way that he stands out. He's got some good power, hits for an okay average, speed is improving, and he's still a young guy. You know, it feels like he's been with the New York Mets organization for quite some time, but on April 4th, he turns just 22 years old. Now, if I had to describe him in one word, the word would be polarizing. His reputation is rather mixed amongst baseball analysts. Some analysts really like him, some are not quite so high on him. Some view him as a top 5 Mets prospect, and some analysts have him outside the top 10. It's pretty crazy. Let's get to know Mr. Mauricio a little bit better. So Ronny Mauricio was signed as an international free agent by the Mets on July 2nd, 2017. He got a $2.1 million signing bonus. Just to give you a little perspective on that, the only international Mets free agent to make more than that on a signing bonus was Francisco Alvarez, the number 1 prospect with the Mets and possibly the number 1 prospect in all of baseball. Now, Mauricio has kind of bounced around top prospect lists for a couple of years. The highest that he ever reached was number 62 on MLB's pipeline list, and that was before the 2020 season, so it's been a little while. So let's talk about his history. In 2019, he had his first full season in North America, played with the low-A Columbia Fireflies, a team that is no longer in existence. He arrived there looking like a pool cue, 6'2", 160 pounds, played pretty well, had a .665 on-base plus slugging percentage, had 29 extra base hits in 116 games. The takeaways after that first season was there was some raw ability, but he had to physically mature. He had to grow into his body a little bit, and he had to adjust professional pitching. So then came the 2020 season, but there was a pandemic. And on to 2021 that we went. So the 2020 season not occurring because of COVID, you know, it did cost him a year of playing time, but he did take that time to work on his physique. He put on about 40 pounds of muscle, and he started to hit the ball a whole lot harder. So if you go to 2021, he spent those games playing for High A Brooklyn and Double A Binghamton, and in 108 games, he had 40 extra base hits, including 20 home runs. And while he was doing this, he was just 20 years old. Not too bad. Then comes the 2022 season. This past year, he spent the full year with Double A Binghamton, played in 123 games, 509 at-bats. Now he finished hitting .259. He had a .767 on-base plus slugging, so that number has gone up. 26 home runs, 89 RBIs, 20 stolen bases on 31 attempts, 24 walks, had 125 strikeouts, so that was about 1 out of 4 at-bats. 25 errors at shortstop, though. We do not need to see him play shortstop ever again. So it was kind of a mixed year. You can see his combination of power and speed really coming together. The batting average wasn't great, and the defense absolutely stunk. But that's not the end of the story. You had this past winter, the winter of Ronny. So he played 47 games for Tigres del Licey. I absolutely cannot pronounce that. But he dominated, okay? He had an .803 on-base plus slugging. He led the entire league with 54 hits, 15 doubles, 31 RBIs. He also hit 5 home runs, stole 11 bases, and he drew 10 walks. See, Mauricio is not known for his ability to draw a free pass, but to do it in 10 times in 47 games was actually a step in the right direction. But that batting average went up to 287, third best in the league. This is really good, really good. And his defense needs to be noted as well. This was the first time in his career he played a position other than shortstop. He got appearances at third base, even got one at second base. This is a key development when we're looking ahead to his future and to the 2023 season. All right, so what kind of scouting report do we have on Mr. Mauricio? Well, he stands very tall and open at the plate with that 6'2" frame. He likes to hold his hands high. He wraps his bat around his head. He's got a little bit of a leg kick going on. He's got a long swing, and the finish is kind of loose. So he's not an overswinger. The biggest problem with Mauricio is that his plate discipline is not there, and so many kids struggle with this. He has a tendency to swing at bad pitches because he has that aggressive approach at the plate, and he has to learn to detect spinning pitches. Now, when he does make solid contact, he's got the bat speed, he's got the natural strength, and he can punish a baseball. But too many times, because he's not recognizing the pitchers, it's been weak ground balls, it's been pop-ups. Now, his strikeout rate did improve as last season went on. Got to point that out. And his strikeout rate is 23%, which is not overly bad, but like I said, his walk rate plummeted. So hopefully in this winter league, he was walking a little bit more. I hope that's a positive sign. Now, we mentioned earlier that Mauricio is a switch hitter. Now, he seems to be a more effective hitter batting left-handed as opposed to right-handed. So as a lefty last season, he had 445 plate appearances. He batted .267, hit 24 home runs, had 22 walks, and struck out 100 times. As a righty, he had just 96 plate appearances, so about 1/5 of the number. And he batted .226, only 2 home runs, walked twice, and struck out 25 times. Quite a difference. Maybe in that sense, I'm seeing comparisons to Javi Baez, sort of that all-or-nothing approach, but sort of a dynamic presence. And you know what? I can live with that in the right lineup if he provides that power. Because right now with this Mets team, I know it's going to change in a couple of years if Mauricio makes the major leagues. But you do have a lot of contact hitters. You don't have a whole lot of sluggers. You know, last season, the Mets had only 3 players who hit 20 home runs or more. They need more power in this lineup. As far as defense goes, I think he's either going to be an outfielder. They might try him there. Maybe third base. We never need to see him at shortstop again. I do think Brett Beatty is going to have third base locked up. I think with anything, you sort of see Mauricio, you try to plug him into a corner outfield spot, if anything. And I will give him credit for working on his game, refining his weaknesses, and becoming a better player. He was named League MVP during the Winter League. That's why they called it the Winter of Ronny. I don't know what the fit for him would be with the New York Mets. Maybe I think right now he's ticketed for Syracuse after having a whole year in Double-A and playing well. But when you have Lindor at shortstop, Beatty at third base, you know, it's pretty much DH or corner outfield for him. The biggest thing that is going to make a difference if Mauricio is going to be a big prospect or not is his pitch recognition. If he could keep that batting average around 260s, around 270, if he could keep it up there, I think this is a very, very intriguing prospect who could bring a unique blend of both power and speed to the major leagues. So those are my thoughts on Ronny Mauricio. I want to hear yours. Do you think he has a future with the New York Mets, or would you consider using him as a trade chip? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. I'll see you back here with more content once I'm back in the wicker chair. Be well.